So, as you can see, my pole arm is now finished. I have my German halberd all set up. I've opted at the moment not to sharpen this false edge here, but the spike will obviously do its job. So, this took me quite a long time to actually put together. So, as you can hopefully see, and I need to be careful not to hit the ceiling, I've got the big ash shaft all set up for it. And it's got all the sort of langlets down the side done. The langlets were what gave me real trouble, simply because this ash shaft is so thick, because obviously if you're getting a proper spear shaft, you need to order it, the one size they basically do these in, and it's the thickest size, and then you have to grind it down to the size of your pole arm, because they'd be in a bit of a problem if they did it in the smallest pole arm size, and then if you had bigger halberd heads or whatever, they wouldn't fit it. So this is basically the Halberd Complete. The only bit that looks a bit crap is at the top, as you can see, where I've had to grind that all down to get this to fit, but there wasn't any other way of really doing it easily. This took me about 6 hours just to get this pole down to the size to fit the halberd, because of how thick ash wood it is, and I don't have all that many power tools. So if you can imagine shaving wood down like this with a knife, the bench grinder was the fastest thing I could use, but that still took ages, sawing it, everything like that to get the halberd head to fit, because obviously, as you can imagine, the pole goes quite a lot further up into there. It was a very long, slow job, but it's done now, and this should be very secure, because this is held on quite well even without the langlets on, and then the langlets obviously make it a lot more secure. So, I have a halberd. So what I'll do in a second is get a tape measure, so you can see just how long this is, but this is bloody long. So I can finally say the lines of the pikemen in Stronghold, which will have halberds or pole axes, whichever one they've actually got. The great lines such as, "How many fit on this thing, eh?" and "Pack fodder." But obviously it's not a pike. "Run them through." I can do all of those. That's a really bad attempt at a Lancashire accent. But as you can see, it is a giant bloody polearm. Now, unfortunately, I can't really test it today because my neighbours are both sunbathing in their garden, and I doubt they'd be very happy if I just went around swinging this thing around while stabbing milk jugs and shouting. But it is what it is. So there's obviously your spike that works like your spear. This is the primary bit of a halberd you would use. This is for thrusting into your opponents and obviously running them through. Now the back bit is the one that you normally use, I believe, for hooking knights off of horseback, or just like trying to catch people and pull them forward, pulling away shields. And then you've got the axe blade, and as I said, this one has a false edge. I could sharpen it if I want to, but at the moment I'm not going to do that. However, the main job of this obviously is to block incoming attacks to your halberd, just as this side does. But obviously, even without the sharpened, bringing this down with full force of the pole would definitely be fatal, especially if somebody wasn't wearing a helmet. It would crack the skull open quite easily. Before I assembled the halberd, I did actually just do a test sort of like that with a bit of wood, and it surprised me just how big the dent sort of hack it put into it, even without a sharp edge. So, the halberd is complete. As I said, I will just get a tape measure and then I will show you on camera just how big this thing is. I'm glad now that they didn't have the butt caps in stock, because if the butt caps were in stock, that would have added a bit of extra length, but it would also mean I'd had to have shaved down this pole even more to fit the butt sort of plate, whatever you want to call it, the iron butt, which would have been, you know, even more work on top of everything else. So yeah, I'm really pleased I've done this now. By making it this way, the price of the halberd head and the pole were about £40, just under £40 each. I think it was about £30 the pole, £30 odd the halberd head, with postage and like shipping on both of those. Both came when they were meant to come, except the halberd head was meant to come on Saturday and ended up coming on a Monday. That brought it up to £80 odd. So that was much cheaper than, for example, buying a cold steel polearm. I could have done this cheaper if I went for a round handle. There's advantages and disadvantages to that, but the main disadvantage is obviously edge alignment. Now, as you can see, because I've gone for a proper spear pole, it's octagonal. You can get these sort of in 4s or 8s. Obviously, the diagonal bits are smaller than the 4 primary angles. But the point is with edge alignment is that when you are using your polearm, you can tell much more easily where you're going to strike with it due to the edge alignment. And obviously when you're bringing down an axe on somebody, or doing that, you want it to be edge aligned. If you're only thrusting with it, that doesn't matter so much. Now, the cold steel English bill and like the Sergeant's halberd do look very good, but the other thing as well, I think I've already mentioned, is I wanted one that was the sort of stainless steel kind of look, because that reflects light, and that looks much cooler, in my opinion anyway, than having a tactical black one. I know it will rust more easily, but it looks good obviously in the sunlight or moonlight. If you catch that, see the shimmer off of this blade, that would look excellent, where you don't get that with the tactical black ones. So maybe in the future, and as I said, unfortunately need to get a new car, I might have the spare cash to actually go for another pre-made halberd, but I think I've done an alright job with this myself. As said, I know that's a bit crap at the top, but I already spent 6+ hours or something filing this wood down to get it on, and it is secure and strong enough. I also didn't want to file that down more and then make that wood a weak point, because obviously the more you shave it down, the more likely on an impact it is to fracture, so I'd rather it look a bit ugly, you know, and work better than everything else. So obviously this has got quite a bit of weight to it. I haven't weighed this yet, but it's not as heavy as you'd think it would be, but obviously all the weight is front-ended, but it depends where you grip it, because if you grip it closer to the top, you've got more weight behind. But you can be surprisingly nimble with these, I'd imagine. So anyway, I have no polearm training, I wouldn't mind practicing a bit with this. But anyway, let me get the tape measure, enough talking, and we'll see how long this polearm is. Right, it's about 7'8", I reckon, about 4 inches short of 8 foot, as you can see there. So 7 foot takes you to, there's the 7 foot marker. Yeah, 7 foot marker's part way along the halberd's main spike, and then obviously just to prove that I am measuring the halberd and not going beyond it, there is the end of the tape measure. So yeah, I've got nearly an 8 foot polearm. So this is going to be great fun, but where am I going to store it? That's the important next question.